Dun Clica Shaw, Tmet Creve Ardwaha, Sainture, Idar Neve Padre Colacani, Agus Ballymacnab na Clíhide. Falsha go Park Lewis Ardwaha for welcome to the Athletic Grounds for this Tmet Armagh Senior Championship semi-final between St Patrick's Cullyhanna and Round Towers Ballymacnab, and this is a semi-final. It's two teams playing for the right to face Crossmaglen Rangers in the final of the Armagh Senior Championship. I have Niall McCoy alongside me here from the Gaelic Life, a man who was quoted in this week's paper as having a man of very interesting opinions, and we hope that he can live up to that reputation tonight on Armagh TV. And Niall, first of all, before we talk about Cullyhanna versus Ballymacnab, your reaction to Crossmaglen's fairly impressive 3-point victory over Mahary?
Well, yeah, it's Cross, another final paddy, and since they started around 1996 they haven't actually lost a final, only missing out in 2009 when they lost early in the rounds to Pierce Oak. I think it was an expected result. Getting into an early 6-point lead probably killed the game as a contest. Mahary fought back, but going in even at half time, the next score is crucial from a psychological point of view as everything, but Tony Kernan getting the next score, and from there on Crossmaglen pushed on as they often do and got the result they needed.
Yeah, I mean, I thought those 2 points at the start of the second half were for Crossmaglen, were very, very important. The fact that they got those couple of frees, Mahary had gotten back, looked like they were about to make a game of it, got back level by half time, but those couple of points were very, very, very important. And so, moving on to tonight, Niall, any predictions? I think you were quoted in the Gaelic Life as having a fancy in terms of betting on this one, and have you changed that view at all?
I haven't, no. I still fancy Cullyhanna to come through here tonight. Now, before the Greenmore Ballymacnab match, I also predicted a Greenmore victory and was reminded of my faux pas shortly after, but I think Cullyhanna at the moment just have the squad to get through to the final. A bit of a blow for Ballymacnab before the match. Brian McCone, their captain, he's not starting. He was down to start a centre half forward. He's being replaced by Jack Grugan. Brian has scored in every league and championship match this year. He's been their free taker. He's been their main man. He's been their top scorer in the championship to date. Jack Grugan, just watching the warm up there, looks like he'll be taking on free taking duties from the start.
Yeah, so let's suspect I suspect that Jack Grugan was maybe always going to start with Brian McCone losing as a big disappointment, and we now pause the Athletic Grounds for a rendezvous. This will be sung by Patricia McCrink from St Patrick's Cullyhanna.
Of the St Patrick's Cullyhanna team. Armagh Oran Nash Naharan Oran Nabian.
It looks like a good crowd here in the Athletic Grounds tonight. Just to run through the teams for you folks, starting with Round Towers Ballymacnab. Number 1 in goal, Sean Hughes. 2, Chris Loughran. 3, Rory Gribben. Sean Lynch, number 4, Neil Sheag Image. August 17, Kevin Began in his place. Number 5 is James Gray. 6, Michael Began. 7, Dominic McFarland. 8, Ryan Kennedy. 9, Tony McKee. 10, Damien McGowan. Ivera Hainjig, Brian McCone, Neil Sheag Image, August Jack Grugan is in his place. Number 12, Padraig Gribben. 13, Rory Grugan, as the referee's about to throw it up. But 14 is Gary McKee, and 15 is Joe Gribben. And for Cullyhanna, number 1, goalkeeper Conor O'Neill. 2, Kieran McCooey. 3, Stephen Reel. 4, Michael Murray. Number 5, Colin, who will not be starting, and in his place comes number 18, Pierce Casey. Number 6 is Sean Connell. Left half back will be Paddy McCreesh, the captain. Number 8, Kieran McKeever. Number 9, Barry McConville, as the ball is thrown in by referee Kevin Murphy. Number 10, Liam O'Hare. 11, Robbie Tasker. 12, Gareth Mackin. 13, Gary McCooey. 14, Malachi Mackin. And 15, Aidan Nugent. Does Cullyhanna attack here in the early stages, and there's Sean Connell passes the ball over. And Cullyhanna, that ball's chipped in the direction of Gareth Mackin. Gareth can't quite get onto that. It's picked up by Michael Beggan as Pearse Oakes tried to attack down the terrace side of the pitch. And here's Dominic McParland. McParland plays a low ball in, dangerous enough. And that's one there in the middle by Ryan Kennedy. He's played it in. Here's an early opportunity. Jack Rugen on the ball. He's not far away. Is he going to tap the ball over the bar? Yes, he does. And Jack Rugen, and that's a score for Ballymacnab. And an excellent start for Ballymacnab. Niall McCoy after 38 seconds.
Yeah, very lively start from Ballymacnab. I thought Rory Grugan maybe could have been in goal there if he had a turn, but he fed it off to his brother Jack in a nice start. Mal Mackin has started in the full forward line again for Cullyhanna, as he has throughout the championship. Kieran McKeever actually started beside him when the throw in, but he's moved out around the centre as expected.
Yes, and then number 13, Gary McHugh, actually has been utilised in the past at full forward and indeed many other positions for Cullyhanna, but he's taken up what has been a fairly regular station for him in the full back line this season.
Yes, Stephen Reel actually seems to be playing further out the field than he has been, although he's drifted back in again, but just settling for themselves now at the moment.
And that ball's picked up by Paddy McCreesh. Paddy looked like he was fouled. Yes, the referee agrees, and I think that's Sean Collins about. Kieran McKeever has the ball now. He's going to take the free. In his own half back line. That's pumped forward. It didn't look the most accurate ball. Possibly there was a foul there. Yes, the referee agrees with that. And the ball's been played there very, very quickly. There's a bit of advantage. Robbie Tasker, is he able to put the ball over? And the sides are level here in the athletic grounds. 1 minute played. Robbie Tasker's tapped the ball over, and that's Cullyhanna 1 point. Ballymacnab the same score, 1 point in the early. And a decent attractive opening, Niall.
Decent start. That's Robbie Tasker's. He had pointed the championship, and if you give him that sort of space, he's going to point all night.
Yes, he was actually probably by his own very, very high standards now a little quiet against Sarsfields.
It was quiet against Sarsfields. He obviously had a big impact against White Cross, but again, and there's no wind, there's no bad elements tonight, and if they get enough ball in them, he'll do damage. It's
a perfect day, really unseasonably warm in Armagh this evening now. As the sun dips, it's a little cooler, but it's only a perfect night for football under the lights here, and what an important game we have leading in a massive weekend of football. As that ball bounced off Barry McConville. Can he get back to it? McConville plays it forward. There's two Cullyhanna men have gone for the ball at the same time. Gareth Mackin emerges. Can Mackin find a teammate? He does. He finds Pierce Casey. What a season Pierce Casey's having. He was in Canada for quite a long time during the year, but he's come back for Cullyhanna. He's been absolutely superb in the championship thus far. As Ballymacnab have a sideline kick, and that ball's played fairly accurately. An opportunity now for Tony McKee. Tony McKee's had an effort, and that's a fantastic point from Tony McKee 2 minutes in. And we really have been treated to an exhibition of score taking in the early stages. Now,
yeah, so far 3 shots, 3 points. Tony McKee is one of the man of the matches against Greenmore. Second round of the championship, and turned into a really good player for Ballymacnab, one of their main men.
And it's a big blow for the Nab, Niall, the fact that Captain Brian McCone isn't available. Always a disappointment to lose your captain in any circumstances.
It is. And Mr. Reliable on the scoreboard too. Like, he's posted some very big tallies this year, but a lot of them were from frees, and they'll be confident that Jack Rugen or Rory, whoever takes him in the end, will be able to counter his loss.
And it looked like there might have been a bit of a push there, but the referee didn't agree, and Cullyhanna attack. Kieran McKeever chips it in towards, and he chipped it sort of between Barry McConville and Robbie Tasker, but Malachi Mackin now emerges. Mackin's picked it up fairly effectively, and Mackin heads toward goal. Mackin, he's been tackled by a couple, he's brushed past him, he's heading towards goal, and he's actually fisted into the net, but that won't count. And that'll be a free out. I'm not exactly sure what Malachi was trying to do. I suspect he was hoping that a teammate would emerge from the pack and maybe be able to put that into the net, but certainly that was a score that was never likely to be allowed. And the referee has he's going to speak to somebody here. He's not going to let Ballymacnab emerge the game quickly.
I see Stephen Reel is actually playing further out the field, or he's playing at the moment around the middle, Paddy, so it'll be interesting if he stays out there for the whole match or if he drifts back in.
Yeah, I suspect he will. Certainly Stephen would have made his name in Armagh football as a full back, but he's been utilised now by manager Jody Gormley in that wing half back role quite a bit. Gary McCooey has played in full back fairly regularly for Cullyhanna in the second half of the season. And interesting, of course, now that these two teams, the league table after 15 matches just couldn't separate them, both finishing joint 7th position, comfortably in mid-table, though Cullyhanna won the league fixture between the sides fairly comfortably, 3-15 to 3-6 as Ballymacnab attack here, and that ball's played down. And here's an opportunity now for Gribben. Pádraig Gribben heading towards the corner. He's had an effort. That's a very, very ambitious effort, and that's gone wide. I wouldn't have thought that league match, which was played in a fairly unusual setting of Abbey CBS, would have too much effect on tonight's proceedings, Niall.
No, I don't think so. I don't think either side are full strength. I know Kieran McKeever wasn't playing for Cullyhanna that night. It was comprehensive by Cullyhanna. I think they conceded a lot of sloppy goals that night as it was, but it'll not have too much bearing on tonight, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, Gareth Mackin was actually the top scorer there. He grabbed 2-3 on that particular occasion. Robbie Tasker was in fine form, but I would agree with you that it's not probably unlikely to matter too much in the heated championship battle here on October's evening in the Athletic Grounds. And here Ballymacnab have made the better start here, and that's Rory Grugan, the danger man. He had the ball. That's off to Jack, the brother Jack. The two Grugan brothers, they combined for a goal against Greenmore, against Ballymacnab's great rivals. It looks like they've combined again to good effect, and this will be a Ballymacnab free scoreable position now.
This will almost certainly be 3-1. Touch soft of a free kick, probably was the right decision in the end. It's actually going to be Ryan Kennedy's going to take this first free day from Ballymacnab, so maybe he's on free taking duties rather than Jack Grugan.
And don't forget, folks, to get your comments in. Let us know where you're watching the match from. Armagh-gaa Facebook page. On the Twitter, it's at Armagh_gaa. As Ryan Kennedy steps up to take this free, and unsurprisingly, he's tapped it. Oh, sorry, it's very, very surprising. It's gone over. Looked like it drifted off, and perhaps it hit a post there behind the goal. It seemed to be drifting off, but you'd have expected Ryan to get that, and that one has safely gone between the posts. And with 6 minutes played, Ballymacnab have made much the better start, and they'll lead by 3 points to 1 here in the Athletic Grounds in the Tmet Armagh Senior Championship semi-final.
Yeah, they've certainly been the better team in the opening stages and are well worthy of their 2-point lead at the moment.
That ball's played out there. Sean Conn bounced off Sean there. And Ballymacnab again, they've made the better start. They've settled. I suppose again, I mean, nerves do play a part, Niall, in these sorts of games, and probably a team that settles a little better are always going to be, at an advantage. As Rory Grugan, he's played an interesting ball there, but well defended by Kieran McCooey. But it's only gone as far as Jack Grugan, as the Cullyhanna man 45. Down. Jack Grugan is looking for 45, and he's going to be awarded that. And this is another opportunity for Ballymacnab, and I'm sure Jody Gormley a touch wide in the early stages here now.
Well, 12 months ago, Cullyhanna obviously didn't show up in their semi-final against Pearse Oak. I think they lost by 10 in the end, so maybe there's thoughts of that still lingering a wee bit, and it's maybe resulting in this nervy start. But Ballymacnab definitely have started the brighter, and Rory Grugan's rotating nicely there from the full forward line out to the half forward line, and they need to get a tighter grip on him at the moment.
Yes, very elusive, Rory Grugan, isn't he? He's a fantastic footballer. Well, of course, Ballymacnab have very much been there. We've been there before, seen it, and got the T-shirt, as they say now, of course, in the 2011 championship. Yeah,
they are comfortable enough in that semi-final against Greenmore in the end, 2-11 to 11 points. They look determined here. You know, all season they've been using the rotation between the full forward and centre half forward. It had been Rory Grugan and Gavin McParland before he went to America, but now it's the two brothers who are swapping around, and it's worked quite well this year, and it started well here too.
This Gavin McParland's a big loss, of course, for Ballymacnab, though they're not necessarily feeling it at this point. And that 45 has gone wide. Difficult effort, long way out the field, obviously, and wasn't overly pleasing of an angle for the Ballymacnab men. So 8 minutes played here at the Athletic Grounds. Ballymacnab 3 points, and Patrick Cullyhanna a point. Let us know, folks, where you're watching the match from. Whether it be Mahary or Melbourne, let us know where you are, what you make of the game so far. Twitter at Armagh_gaa, the Armagh-gaa Facebook page. Here's Paddy McCreesh over on the stand side of the pitch. He's played it off to Sean Connell. Sean's looking for options. He hasn't particularly found any. Looked like he might have turned into a bit of trouble there, but he's managed to get as far as Gareth Mackin. Gareth Mackin's fisted it on to Robbie Tasker. Robbie Tasker's out here, but midfield he's having to scrap in 3 men. He manages to get away from them and plays it back to Stephen Reel. Stephen Reel shrugs off a challenge. Off and plays a high ball forward, and that's in the vicinity of Pierce Casey. Referee's given a free kick, and this looks like a very scoreable. I think he's suggesting the full forward Malachy Mackin was fouled. Yes, that seems to be the decision that the referee has made, and that from a high hopeful ball was being punted forward. Now Cullyhanna have a very scoreable opportunity and a great chance to put their second point on the board. Yeah,
Robbie should stick this over now. It was interesting, Malachy's done full forward for the 2 matches to date, and they haven't really used a lot of high pumping balls in, and that one was going towards Mackin before he is fouled. It'll be interesting to see how much they use the high ball tonight now, to see if they can utilise his height, because he's got 4 or 5 inches on his marker there, and that could prove crucial if one of those high balls are caught.
Well, he's a great option to have, and of course combined very well with his brother. They both got 1-1 in the first half of the match against Sarsfields, and Robbie Tasker has top that one over with a minimum of fuss. And so that's 2 Robbie Tasker points for Cullyhanna in the early stages. Very little between them at this stage. Only a point. It's Cullyhanna 2 points. It's Ballymacnab 3. And Cornelius Duffy has been in touch with us on Twitter, and he's asked us to give a shout out to Tony Duffy, who is lying up watching the match from the top of Patsy's bungalow. Obviously has a broadband connection up there in the bungalow, and great to have Tony Duffy along with us. And as that ball's played down to Ballymacnab, and that's I think that was number 14 Guy McKee going for that. He was fouled. Ball's been picked up here by Joe Gribben, pumped in now to Rory Grugan. Grugan being tackled by Barry McConville over on the far side. Ballymacnab looked to build again. That's a very bit of a Hail Mary effort there. And can the Cullyhanna full back deal with that? And there's 2 players, and it's looked like, yes, Ballymacnab 3. And Guy McCoo challenged with the full forward Guy McKee for that. The 2 Garys there, but the Ballymacnab man came off the best. And with 10 minutes played, here's an opportunity. Jack Grugan will tap this over now.
Yeah, this free all came from a great Tony McKee catch in midfield, and him and Kennedy are having a big influence in this game in the early stages. Kennedy's getting a lot of balls, and it was a great catch by McKee. So Cullyhanna maybe try and start exerting a bit more influence around the centre.
Yes, and that was actually probably one of the areas of the pitch where they won the game against Sarsfield. You know, Kieran McKeever, I know he didn't necessarily play in midfield all of the game, but him and Barry McConville both had excellent games against Sarsfield.
I think they got 4 points between them. McKeever won a mountain of break ball in that match again now, just like he did against Whitecross. So obviously to be looking to try and get him in a little bit more here. This kick out's going down them now.
Yep, and that's headed towards Kieran McKeever. Kieran's misjudged that one, and it's been picked up by Ballymacnab. And here's number 2, Chris Loughran. Loughran plays the ball in, and that's another dangerous ball. And real aerial bombardment in the early stage in Ballymacnab. That one dropped loose, and Gary McCooey was able to transfer it there. Great ball forward, and that's been picked up by Gareth Mackin. Gareth has a chance to stretch his legs and pumps it in towards his brother Malachy. Malachy's got that old-fashioned football being played here in the last minute or so in the athletic grounds, but that ball has gone. That ball's gone astray, and Ballymacnab will attack here over on the terrace side of the pitch. Ball played down in the direction of number 7, Dominic McParland, and that's gone out over the sideline to be a Ballymacnab ball, in fact. And that's chipped over towards Joe Gribben. He seems to be playing quite a withdrawn role. That's Ryan Kennedy now on the ball. Ryan's about 50 metres from goal. Again, and the ball is pumped in about the house. And Gary McCooey comes out. Superb catch from the Cullyhanna full-back. McCooey's grabbed a hold of it, and that's excellent stuff there from Gary McCooey, and he's got on with it. He won the free, and he's played it over to a fellow Cullyhanna man. That ball's crossed now to Paddy McCreast. They call him Sleepy. He had to be alive there at that stage, but now it's a free kick for Cullyhanna. Paddy with the ball again here. He's passed it on to another player, and that ball's chipped over to Kieran McCooey. Kieran McCooey with the chance to stretch his legs. Excellent, one of the best attacking cornerbacks in Armagh football, I would suggest. And that's been played as far as Aidan Nugent. I think that's the first opportunity Aidan has had to get into the game. Cullyhanna, this is a really decent move, perhaps for the first time in the match. Here's Sean Connell. Sean got a point in the quarter-final against Sarsfield, and he's got one here against Ballymacnab, and that was for the best move of the game, perhaps, Niall Mackay.
Yeah, lovely team move with a couple of guys. Pierce Casey involved too, and a great finish off his left foot. Needed that. There's still only a point between it, even though Ballymacnab have been the better side. But that was a great score, and Cullyhanna yet to kick a wide, which is a good sign so far.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be glad just to suppose stay with Ballymacnab at this stage. As you mentioned, I suppose there will be some of the mental scars of the last year's semi-final perhaps still lingering, but this is a very competitive match here, and that's been picked up by Tony McKee, Ballymacnab. He's played the ball off, Ballymacnab attack, and that's that one there has been chipped forward as far as Dominic McParland. He seems to be playing an advanced role at this stage. Here's Gribben. Gribben's had a kick, and Gribben has put that one to the right and wide. And Bosco McAlinden, he's watching from Portadown. He's good luck to Chernoke tomorrow. That's his main concern. The Intermediate Championship final, of course. Don't forget, we have a double header on Armagh TV. We had you along last night. Thanks very much for those who donated £1 last night to watch Pearse Oaks versus Crossmaglen. We're delighted to have our viewers along tonight for Cullyhanna versus Ballymacnab, and tomorrow we have the double feast of football. St Paul's will play Crossmaglen Rangers in the Division 2 Minor Championship final, and then the intermediate final between Chernoke and the Madden side. And here comes Barry McConville. Barry McConville soloing through. He's laid that off to his midfield partner Kieran McKeever. McKeever finds a man overlapping. That ball's been chipped. Oh, just McConville was almost through on goal. That Niall was only inches away there and being a perfect pass.
Great vision from Tasker. He just overcooked it a wee bit there. McConville wasn't tracked running through the middle, and there was a goal on there. If Tasker maybe had just took a few yards off that pass, he would have been clean through.
Yeah, listen, of all of Robbie's attributes, and he has so many, probably his vision is perhaps the greatest one. That ball's played and has bounced over Sean Connell. Sean was sweeping in front of it. That looked like it was going to be a foul, but the referee didn't give it. Perhaps Cullyhanna shade fortunate, to be quite frank, to have avoided a penalty there. Ballymacnab attacks now. He's pumped it forward. That's to Malachy Mackin. Malachy's, I'm not sure he got a touch on it at all, but it's gone over his head. Robbie tried to advance and get that ball, but wasn't quite able. That was really gripping on the ball, and he's passed it on. And now the ball is with Michael Began. Michael Began plays it up along the line. Reel goes for it with the midfielder, with Ryan Kennedy. The referee's decided to Reel touch it along the ground. He's given a bit of an incident between the two. Ballymacnab looked to play on. I think the referee was actually going to allow them to have it, and there's little confusion here. Players have stopped, and this is going to be very controversial because it's gone on, and it took a very superb save from Conor O'Neill to prevent a goal there. And really, Niall, what would have happened there if that ball had got at the back of the net? Because it was very clear, whether they should have or not, the Cullyhanna defenders did stop, thinking that the referee had told them to bring the free forward. As here's the opportunity now for Ballymacnab. Jack Grugan on the ball, and that's in the back of the net. And Jack Grugan has stuck a dagger into the heart of the Cullyhanna men in the early stages. And Ballymacnab have taken the lead by 4 points here. It's Ballymacnab 1-4. Jack Grugan, that was a really expert finish, wasn't it, Niall?
Super finish. Confusing piece of play. Cullyhanna still complaining to the referee. Michael Murray, he just stopped and allowed Grugan in for that initial run and goal, which was brilliantly saved, and in the aftermath it was played back in, and a bit more confusion, and Jack Grugan put it in the net. But a strange minute of football there, but it's Ballymacnab that lead by 4 points, and I wouldn't say deservedly so, but they've certainly been the better team.
Yeah, well, I mean, the old adage is now there's a play to the whistle, and whether it was a whistle or not, I'm not entirely sure. But here comes Liam O'Hare. He's advancing forward. It's Barry McConville now. McConville, can he get a point? McConville shipped it over, and that's the response that Cullyhanna needed. We've played 16 minutes here on the athletic grounds. There's 3 points between the sides, and again, but moving back to that goal, Niall, I mean, certainly, Mickey Murray stopped, and I really thought now it was difficult for us. We don't necessarily hear all the whistles now, but I was absolutely certain that I saw the referee wave the Ballymacnab player and signal that he was to take the ball 13 metres forward.
Right, I didn't see it myself, Paddy. I wasn't sure what happened there too. A bit of soundproof boot in here. You don't hear the whistle, but it was interesting anyway.
Well, he certainly made a signal. I suppose people might argue, look, you give the advantage to the team that are attacking, and Ballymacnab were that side. But I don't think it's probably best left in the past now. Cullyhanna responded with a point, and here comes Pierce Casey down the terrace side of the pitch. He's punted in towards Mackin. Mackin's arisen, and here's Tasker. Tasker's passed it on. There's a couple of passes from Tasker.
A couple of loose ones that could have resulted in a couple of goals or at least points now. He probably should have popped that over the bar. He probably should have went on and took the point there. But it's interesting, last 5 minutes, Cullyhanna are starting to get a real grip midfield. They're leading the break ball stakes 5-2. And
great Mickey Murray there, tackling very, very strongly. He's having it free. And that the free now has been given. Yeah, the free has been given to Rory Grugan.
I thought that was soft myself, Paddy, to be honest with you, but they're swapping. Gary McCooey and Michael Murray are swapping on to Rory Grugan there. He's winning a lot of ball out in front. I thought he's perhaps fortunate there, but his brother Jack coming out to take this free now to restore their David Hope 4-point advantage.
Yeah, difficult enough one, difficult angle, and Jack hasn't taken that on, but now he has it, trying to make a better angle for himself. He's had a pop from closer in, and that has gone over the bar. On that, yeah, that was an excellent point.
Well, that's 1-3 for Jack Grugan already. 1-2 from play. He wasn't down to start this match, although, as you had mentioned, he is probably always going to start regardless of Brian McComb's fitness. But that's a great tally inside 19 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think the reality is that if Brian McCone hadn't been injured, and we presume that he's injured, the fact that he's not playing, but somebody else would have made way. As the referee awards Cullyhanna. He wants Cullyhanna free, and that's been given to Kieran McKeever. Kieran trying to restore an element of calm. Disappointing in the early stage for Cullyhanna has been pumped in. They are using that long ball to Malmac, and it hasn't quite paid as many dividends as they would have hoped as yet. But there's Robbie Tasker. He's shipped the ball, and the umpires have awarded the point, and that's a Robbie Tasker point after 18 minutes here on the athletic grounds. And the score is now St Patrick's 5 points, Ballymacnab 1-5. That possibly controversial goal between the sides. Though I think we probably should point out, Niall, that whatever the rights and wrongs of the free kick incident were, was that the ball was saved and it was recycled, and it was a number of seconds after the disputed incident, the ball into the back of the net.
And another disputed incident here, Ballymacnab were convinced that ball went wide, and the referee's actually gone in to talk to the umpires. Now the umpire on the side that went over the bar, or maybe not went over the bar, gave the point, but is
Well, no, I think certainly the umpire who was on the other side, he was quite adamant that it was a point. He pointed to his colleague and told him to raise the white flag.
I think it was actually Sean Hughes, the goalie, must have said something to the umpire here because he seems to be getting booked by the referee.
Yeah, we don't have the benefit. We have Armagh TV here in the athletic grounds. We don't have Hawkeye as yet. No doubt, probably in the future we will have it at all the inter-county grounds. Niall, but
I just hope Sean didn't say anything too rash here because men have been sent off for this.
yeah, and just as this situation develops, Eamon O'Kinn is watching us in South Africa, and he's watching the game with his family. He says, "Come on, Ballymacnab." He'll have been delighted with the early start and the goal for Ballymacnab as goalkeeper Sean Hughes. He was given a yellow card there. All is I suppose now, yellow card. It's a fair disciplinary measure against players out the field, but with a goalkeeper, you never really think that it's too much of an issue.
Well, his namesake Sean Hughes in charge side will be a bit disappointed that that's a stupid yellow card to given away for verbals, but they'll still be happy how to go. And
yeah, well, I mean, a goalkeeper's rarely likely to be in the situation where he's going to pick up another yellow card unless he hauls a player down. Of course, it's going through as Robbie Tash tries to tackle, but here come Ballymacnab, and that's played into the Jack Grugan, and that's gone as far I think as Rory there. There was a Cullyhanna defender on the ground. Rory Grugan's got the best of him, and he's fisted that, and that's over the bar. And the Grugan brothers are wreaking havoc at this stage. Niall McCoy.
Yeah, well, that's Rory's first tonight. Smartly fisted over the bar. Hint of maybe a free out, but I think the ref was right giving the benefit of the doubt. And Ballymacnab, every time Cullyhanna get a score, Ballymacnab are responding rightly and going back up the field. There's 4 in it again.
Yes, Cullyhanna were the slight favourites, the bookmakers going into this game. They're about 4-6, 8-13, and you certainly wouldn't be backing them at that price now. Ballymacnab, I'm sure, are the favourites. As Colin Hui, man, he's been injured. He's missed so much of the season. He did his cruciate delt ligament against Crossman in the league in June last year. He's played precious little football since, but he's been warmed up, and I think that shows that these are worrying times for the St Patrick's men.
Well, Cullyhanna really had to get closer to Ryan Kennedy there. He's getting break ball, he's getting so much of it, and he's the man that's kick passing into the forward line. Kieran McKeever was beside him, but no one's close to him now at the moment. They really need to get a handle on him.
That's a great effort from way out the field by Ballymacnab, and everything that Ballymacnab are doing is they really have the Midas touch. Every touch they have is going over the bar, is turning into the proverbial gold, and that was an excellent point for Ballymacnab, and they've taken a commanding enough 5-point advantage at this stage now.
5 points, and they've kicked 3 wides as well. Really look on their game at the moment.
Yeah, Gary McKee with that superb point from way out the field. Don't forget, folks, get in contact with us on Facebook and Twitter. The Armagh-gaa Facebook page, and our Twitter handle is @Armagh_gaa. And we're delighted to have you along here on Armagh TV as Pierce Casey picks up that ball, hits it to Sean Connell. Sean Connell to Robbie Tasker. Tasker picks it up. And
that's another loose pass from Robbie.
Yeah, here's Sean Connell. Sean's pumped it forward. And it's a bit of a 50-50 ball, but perhaps Cullyhanna be able to make something of it. Somebody collided certainly there. I'm surprised that the referee didn't decide to make a decision, but he hasn't. Here's Ballymacnab. Ballymacnab playing over there to Ryan Kennedy. You identified him now as a player who's having a huge influence on the game. I think this is Kennedy again, heading forward into the Cullyhanna half. He's played the ball down towards the corner and just right into the corner. But Jack Regan's got the best of Gary McCooey, and that is a controversial one. The linesman had judged Grugan had gone over straight over the line. I'm not sure if you had a good view of that, but I thought that was a very debatable one.
It must have been close. And see Cullyhanna responding here to Ballymacnab start. They're bringing on Colin Hui. Looks like he's coming on. Not quite sure who for, but he looks like he'll be coming on the next minute.
And here comes Gary McCooey. And again, somebody blew it.
Interesting.
And I couldn't quite get a hold of it. And again, just some of those Ian Newson couldn't get a hold of that. And really, Niall, Ballymacnab have been the better team this first half, but there's been 2 or 3 balls that Cullyhanna have played. And had they been able to, had they just gone an inch or so closer, there might have been a goal.
Well, they have had 3 chances for goal. Well, 3 good chances that maybe just been let down by the final pass, or Nugent seemed to take his eye off the ball there. But I think there is more goals in this game.
And here comes Kieran McKeever down the stand side. He's beaten 1, he's beaten 2. He's played the ball off. Here's Aidan Nugent. It's back now to Pierce Casey. Casey now goes to Gareth Mackin. Gareth has a man in the overlap. That's Paddy McCreesh, but Gareth's continuing on himself. Is he going up? Now he utilises McCreesh. McCreesh goes forward. I think he should fist it over the bar, and he does so. And that's an excellent point there from the captain and the wing half-back, Paddy McCreesh. He emerged for well found there, and that was a good composure there and a patient build-up, Niall, from Cullyhanna.
Patient and taking the right option this time, and the captain popped up well, fist that over. you know, the much needed score keeps them in touch with Ballymacnab, but they just can't seem to break down that 4-point margin at the moment.
Yes, I suspect Cullyhanna would be happy enough to get in. You know, if they could get maybe another couple of points, if they got in 2 or 3 points down, they'd be, you know, they'd be probably relieved enough at half time, given the way that this first half has gone. And Conor, who had looked like he was about to start, Tony Gormley went over and spoke to him, perhaps gave him a few instructions. And he looks, I'm not entirely certain that his introduction is imminent, but you know, we'll keep an eye on that one as it develops.
He's waiting for another warm up there. Looked very much like he's coming in. I still expect him to come in the next minute or two as Grugan turns Murray again, which is a worry for Cullyhanna.
Yeah, I mean, the Grugans are certainly on top of their markers down there. There's Rory again. That ball's played across. Here's Jack. Is this going to be a goal? It is. And Jack Grugan has scored the goal. It's the 2 Grugan brothers. They've combined, and it was excellent play from Rory Grugan. He beat his man very impressively. He played it across, and that really was an expert finish. And that was Jack Grugan's second goal of the match.
I wouldn't be surprised if Murray's the man to make way here from McCoo, because he's struggling badly on young Rory Grugan here, and Grugan showed his experience there to send the dummy. Jack Grugan, 2 brilliant finishes, and that brings his tally to 2-3, 2-2 from play. It's actually not his captain Paddy McCreesh that's coming off from McCoo just after he scored that point there. Chintress, maybe he's carrying a knock, Paddy, I'm not too sure, but he doesn't look to be limping off anyway.
No, well, I suppose Colin, who would be known perhaps more as as an attacking defender, you know, so perhaps it was felt that it was more likely that he should be utilised in the half-back line. And here's the again top Tony McKee's well on top there at midfield, and it's been chipped forward. And Ballymacnab attack here. That ball hasn't gone to hand. Here's Kieran McKeever. How Cullyhanna need his leadership now.
Yeah, the referee's correct there. I think it was off the ball. He's stupid from McCooey just in. He seemed to foul off the ball.
And that'll be a free now to Ballymacnab, and things just aren't going for Cullyhanna now. And if they put this over the bar, there's 8 points between the teams.
I've spoken about Kennedy's influence in the middle, but Tony McKee's taken 3 clean catches in this half already. He's doing what he did against Greenmore and really dominating on the Ballymacnab midfield. The midfield of Kennedy and McKee are really having a big impact here.
Jack Regan with the kick, with 45 metres from goal, and that's a superb kick. And that's gone over the bar. Is that 2-5, 2-4, 2-4 from Jack Regan?
Let's see, 2-4 in 27 minutes of football, and 2-2 of that from play. That's a cracking return for the youngster.
And certainly, Ballymacnab look like they're in a very, very commanding position. We've played 27 minutes here at the Athletic Grounds, 8 points in it, and really this has been all Ballymacnab for the vast majority of this first half. And Cullyhanna are in real trouble as Kieran McKeever comes down the stand side of the pitch. That's been played off, and it looks like it'll be a Cullyhanna ball. Yes, it is. Kieran McKeever will take the sideline. He's kicked that off number 2, Chris Lochran. I'm not sure what the referee's going to make of that.
Malachy Mackin's moved out around the middle too, Paddy, to try and get a grip in proceedings. So I'd imagine that high ball tactic that had been employed by St Patrick's will be done away with somewhat here.
Yeah, they probably need to get Robbie Tasker into the game a little more than they have thus far.
Robbie's been involved a lot. I suppose he's got 3 points, 2 from play, but some of his passing's just been a bit off at the moment.
It's been pumped down, it's been flicked in, and it's blocked, and that'll be a free. Wide rather. That'll be a wide. That'll be kick out. Yes, kick out. Yes, wide ball. Although there's a little confusion over the umpire's signalling, I must say. I think maybe he just wants to speak to the referee, but it surely must be a wide ball. It was blocked.
It was
over the end line.
As Ballymacnab went to clear the line. It's actually Cullyhanna's first wide of the match, and a very unfortunate one. It was good blocking down, but the umpire seemed to signal for a 45 first, strangely. Oh, he's actually again. It's one of the Cullyhanna players must have said something to the umpire, and this umpire is taking a lot of verbal abuse tonight by the looks of it. So there's going to be another yellow card here. I think possibly for Nugent.
Yeah, well, that's Liam O'Hare.
Oh, Liam O'Hare, sorry.
Liam O'Hare, number 10, Liam O'Hare's been spoken to by the referee,
and he's
given a yellow card.
Again, Liam's a very experienced player. You'd expect better from that. There's the 2 yellow cards in this match. Both came from verbals to the same umpire, and in the semi-final championship, and with 2 experienced players in Sean Hughes and Liam O'Hare, you'd expect the relay to that.
Yeah, I suppose maybe nerves and excitement get the players, but I mean, you are right now. It certainly doesn't help a team, doesn't help anybody. The umpire's very unlikely to change his mind. I don't think there was any dispute that it was a wide ball, and here comes Stephen Reel. He'll try to roust his troops into action. He's played the ball. How Cullyhanna need a score here before the half-time break. Robbie Tasker in foraging, trying to get that ball, but his fullback Rory Griffin has it for Ballymacnab, and they've won the free kick. And really, Cullyhanna are being swamped by the Ballymacnab at this stage, heading towards half time here now, Mackay.
Well, I went to a fantastic minor championship semi-final today. Silverbridge beat Clevie by 4 points after extra time. Clevie were 11 points up in that match, so never say never, but at the moment there's only one team really performing. Cullyhanna are playing much like they did against Whitecross, looking nervy, giving away a possession, and they could be in trouble here again as Grugan takes on Murray and gets the better of him again, just drops that short.
And Gary McCooey did very well between McCooey and O'Neill. They were able to tap that ball away. McCooey's gone out and he has it in his own corner. And Gary McCooey, yes, that's played as far as Barry McConville, as Cullyhanna desperately to score. McConville's going to, he dropped his knees there, and it'll be a free kick to Cullyhanna. That ball's been played across, and I presume it's going to be passed on. Yes, passed on now to Kieran McCooey. McCooey's the opportunity to attack. Can he go past the man? Yes, and McCooey emerges forward, and now here is Stephen Reel. Stephen Reel still, Colin Mahuey rather. Colin Mahuey still going, and that's an excellent tackle there. I think that was from number 15, Joe Gribben. But Cullyhanna still attack. Ball probably played back, back out here to Pierce Casey.
14 men in the Ballymacnab half at the moment of their own players.
Going to have to find a way to get through this blanket defence. And here's Malachy Mack, and he's in a scoring position, and that's a very, very badly needed point after 30 minutes and 39 seconds of play in the athletic grounds, and that's probably going to be the last kick of the first half now. And Cullyhanna are 7 points down, and really Jody Gormley is going to have to produce something special in the dressing room this evening.
Well, that's a big score there. Malachy got a goal against in the quarter final, and that's his first real involvement today. Much needed score again, sort of, let's see, halves, it's double scores now, 14-7. 7 points isn't insurmountable, but Cullyhanna really need to wake up.
And the referee blows for half time here in the Tmet Armagh Senior Championship semi-final. Agus Shane score Niamh Podrick shocked Cooling Ballymacnab Ya Cool Agus Hot Cooliny. 7 points to Cullyhanna, 2-8 to Ballymacnab. And Niall, do you see any way back for Cullyhanna in the second half?
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's over, Paddy, but you know, speaking to John Morrison there and we're in agreement to what's happening, Ballymacnab seem to have the rule of roost in the midfield. There don't seem to be enough pressure being put on Kennedy. McKee's taking them from the kickouts, but Kennedy's been given all the time in the world to deliver those kick passes into the full forward line, and Rory Grugan and Jack Grugan looking very on form at the moment. That's what's causing the damage. So I don't know why Cullyhanna are standing so far off them in midfield. They're doing alright in the break ball. It's Cullyhanna actually winning the break ball 8-5 in the first half, but just in terms of giving space, they're not pressurising those Ballymacnab kicks at all.
Yes, it's very much the Grugan show here at the athletic grounds, ably assisted by the midfielders and indeed their Ballymacnab colleagues. So we'll take a break here, folks, and join us for the second half on Armagh TV, and don't forget to get your comments in over the half-time break. Slán go fáil.
Keep the faith.
This is...
Just need to sharpen up.
Just at the end. He's not going over and talk to Naomi. Just came over at the... Yeah. No, that's Joe.